Good afternoon, everybody. Today I'm chatting with Justin Holland from Eguana. In this interview, we discuss Eguana's next generation storage product, which is a modular product, and it's interesting that the same technology can be applied to both residential and commercial products by stacking the modules to different heights. We also discuss the semi-solid state battery technology that Eguana is working on integrating alongside Itochu and 24M. All right, everyone, enjoy the interview. Justin, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey, Steve, it's great to be back with you. How you been?
It's been a while. So we were talking pre-interview a little bit about all the developments that have happened since the last time we spoke, and you actually were able to rip a bunch of them off. So since the last time we spoke, in a nutshell, what has the company done?
Wow, that's a great intro. I don't know how long I can ramble on.
Well,
in one
we'll
stretch.
go into each one. We'll go into each one, but
we've changed a lot. We've launched now into production our 10K Max product, which we just put out to the market. The good news on that is we have orders already and permits for installations. We developed, which we've referenced a couple times in the MD&As, a new technology that we're bringing out later this summer in a tower format. Happy to say that that's in certification, going through now. Should be groundbreaking, Steve. We'll have a single tower, a dual tower, and a three or a triple tower format. So you can do large residential, multi-unit residential, three-phase commercial, all with the same platform. Think about that from a supply chain perspective. Same components across that. It will be certified in each major market. So, that's going along. We've created Eguana University to start to give our dealer sales partners and installation sales partners access to more online tools on how to sell, why to sell, and why you would attach energy storage to rooftop solar. Recurring revenues, which you're going to start seeing a lot more coming out of the company, as we've talked about in the past. We started a division called Eguana Cloud. We've developed Eguana Cloud to a point already where we will be able to take part in recurring revenue models in 2023. So getting the value out of the BPP suite of features that our platform has and getting paid on a monthly basis, not just a one-time hardware buy. We just recently purchased an sales and installation company in Australia. We're working with Simply Energy there on what's called an FCAS BPP. Again, Eguana Cloud, taking advantage of recurring revenue, having a seat at the table with the consumer, working hand in hand with the utility. So, all of those things, fairly significant on their own, but to be able to get them all collectively done by the end of the first quarter, even end of the first quarter, we switched our annual to end of December 31st to start to pair off with comparable companies and most larger exchange companies. So, what has changed? Just about everything. Revenues are now finally increasing where we wanted them to with the advancement of the microinverter. Creating the power center ecosystem is certainly opening doors. So outside of some of the difficult markets that everybody's seen recently, we're very happy the team from operations to development to research has really been executing. We will come out with a product this summer with a 15-year full warranty, unheard of in our sector right now. And that product will have a 2-hour or less targeted install. So just absolutely game changing. So it's been busy, as you would imagine, but the team is doing exceptionally well. The team has actually grown as well. I think the last time we talked, we were in the process of moving to a new location. We've done that. We've got everyone in, settled, and firing on all cylinders. So all things go right now at HQ.
Okay, let's talk about the announcement involving the 10 kilowatt product. You just announced your first shipment, which I believe was in the state of California. What can you tell us?
Really, because of the number of stakeholders that stakeholder benefits that it has. And just to be dead accurate, the first shipments are going to Florida, not
Okay.
California. Just in case someone says you said California, it will be in Florida. But look, think about the installer. The installer, doesn't have to put in a secondary load panel now. So think about how much faster he is. So now he's happy. The consumer gets 10 kilowatts of power so they can back up their entire home. And the base model has 28 kilowatt hours of storage. Typically, you use about 25 in a day. So you can go all day on your charge. From a utility perspective, you've got expandable capacity at 10 kilowatt power. Start thinking VPP, intelligent grid. It's the largest residential system on the market for virtual power plants. So we've got benefits and features for the installer, benefits and features for the homeowner, and benefits and features for the utility. So that product is addressing a number of stakeholder concerns all in one shop.
Now, I have to ask about the recent news release about the revenue guidance for calendar year Q4. I'm not asking for any material non-public information here, but what can you tell me about what you think the product mix could look like in terms of microinverter sales versus energy storage sales long-term for the company?
Yeah, it's a great question, Steve. So early on, it's going to be significant. And, the December quarter, we had about an 85 to 90% take on microinverter. And that's what we expected. We thought that the microinverter market is a much more mature market. It's easier to open the door. People are comfortable selling that over the kitchen table to the consumer, and it's opened those doors. And we've brought in now all 5 top distributors in the U.S. with national agreements. So it did what we wanted it to do. We're tracking right now in the current quarter to come in at just north of 20% energy storage to microinverter. This is exactly as we wanted it to unfold. Get it in, sell the ecosystem, but open the door on something that people are familiar with, comfortable with, and that they know. What we should see going forward is we would like to exit 2023 at somewhere around a 30 to 35% mix of energy storage. And exiting 2024, we expect energy storage to be a higher percentage of our revenue than the microinverter. So the microinverter, we think, will be very quick coming out of the gate, which it has been. We think it'll start to level off. And as attachment rates go up of energy storage to microinverter, you'll start to see the energy storage revenues start to outpace the micro revenue. And that's exactly what we're seeing to start. And we anticipate that's going to continue on.
Okay, so you guys also purchased Solarlab in Australia. Obviously, this is a bit of a different type of acquisition that I think for most shareholders probably came a little bit from left field. An installer. What can you tell us about this acquisition? Why did it make sense for Eguana?
Yeah, so it's an interesting market down in Australia, certainly. If I take you back a few years ago, we were part of the home battery scheme where the South Australian government was looking at putting in tens of thousands of systems, and it never materialized. And what we identified was the installer segment of the market. We're just not comfortable selling and installing the energy storage system. So we identified that hurdle about how do we get closer to the consumer in the Australian market. We continue to work with Simply Energy, our utility partner, but we needed to be closer to the consumer. So we purchased Solarlab. Now we are at the kitchen table in South Australia. We're doing the selling, we're doing the installing, but we're also now installing and selling more Eguana products. So there was a host of benefits from the Eguana standpoint by having that capability and that consumer touch. The second part is we've got a home builder strategy in Australia to work with home builders, and we're working on a pilot right now in Sydney, where we want to go out, partner with home builders as renewable energy systems or the micro and the ESS become commonplace in every new home build. We wanted to make sure that we had installation capability to take advantage of the home builder strategy. We figure, just based on kind of anecdotal evidence we've seen so far and the growth in revenue coming out of month one post-purchase, that we've advanced our objectives in Australia by 18 to 24 months by picking up the expertise and the brand name, which is very well received in South Australia. By picking up Solarlab, we've advanced those objectives by almost 2 years.
Would it make any sense to consider similar acquisitions in other markets, say like California or Florida or Hawaii or something, to purchase a sort of mom and pop installer?
So what we did for the U.S. market, which is far, far more complex than the Australian market, is we created what we call Eguana University, where it's that online toolkit. So we would rather train our partners and get loyalty from our installation partners by having better technology, faster installation times, better brand names, so that it becomes an easier kitchen table sale. But I think if you tried to break in as an installation company in the U.S. market today, I think you would probably spin your wheels, because there are so many of them out there already, which was completely different than what we were seeing in the Australian market. The other thing, the reason we did it in the Australian market, is you have to have very specific licenses to sell and do business in renewable energy in Australia. As part of the purchase of Solarlab, we now have those licenses nationally. So it simplified that process for us as well.
Can we get any insights on the partnership with the auto manufacturer you guys have talked about in your MD&A?
I can't give you any insights on the automotive company. What I can tell you is what's already come out of that relationship is, and this is going to be released fairly soon to the market, so I'm a little cautious, working with what we call a software aggregator. And we've fully integrated with that software aggregator, who is the automotive company's renewable energy software aggregator. That is what's opening up recurring revenue opportunities for Eguana right now. And we had targeted through our operating plan to hit recurring revenue models second half of 2024. I anticipate now seeing recurring revenue models within the next 2 to 3 quarters. So we pulled that ahead. So we can't go into too much detail on the automotive side, but what I can tell you is, out of working with them, we've already done aggregation software integration with our technology, which allows us to take part, not just saying we're selling hardware into a virtual power plant, but we're selling data into a virtual power plant, which is how you get the recurring revenue model. So, big wins already from that relationship. But that's all. I'll leave it there as to what we're doing.
Let me just ask about that recurring revenue standpoint. Where's the revenue stream coming from? Is it just selling data, as you say, or is there some sort of revenue model that maybe you can give us a little bit more color or explanation on?
Right. So we sell access to our cloud, which is where all the units are housed. And when you have access to that cloud, you can then utilize the aggregated hardware as one. So let's say, for instance, you want to dump a bunch of power from battery to grid. If the grid's calling for more load, you need to satisfy that. You don't want to fire up spinning reserve. You want to just dump from batteries. We can now charge a fee to dump all the energy out of our batteries onto the grid. Or if you're managing what happens in Australia with Simply, if you're managing frequencies on the grid, you can push and pull power into and out of the aggregated fleet of batteries. That all goes through Eguana Cloud. That's why we developed Eguana Cloud, because we knew this was going to be the major infrastructure of an intelligent grid 2.0.
The 24M product, is there any has that moved forward, or are you guys kind of just waiting on that technology to sort of become commercially available?
So we had a meeting on that yesterday, actually, with a Tochu. We're hoping to get cells later this year, which would then allow us to start looking at pack configuration, allow us to start doing the BMS. And that will be a big deal because that is the number one cost reduction opportunity in energy storage, is moving to that next generation lithium-based technology. So that's kind of where they sit, is, the cell development standpoint. We'll get those cells later this year. We'll start doing battery packs and go forward from there. Now, we are also working with the Itochu on a current battery right now, and that's when I mentioned earlier about a 15-year warranty product that is coming through a prior relationship with the Itochu as well. So they're still very supportive, very active in our battery supply chain, which you remember years ago, that's, one of the big deals of the relationship. So we'll get massive benefit by having a new product with 15-year warranty, followed by massive cost reduction going to the semi-solid state next year.
Okay. I have to ask you about Hawaii. How's everything going there?
Yeah, Hawaii is changing pretty fast right now. It's an interesting situation. We came out a couple of years ago with a 5 kilowatt system. Everyone said we were crazy. The system is far too big. Hawaii's kind of leapfrogged that right now, where they're looking at 9 kilowatt systems. 5 is actually too small. We put a bunch of the 5 kilowatts into the VPP there, and I believe the last time I talked to HEC, they thought we had somewhere around 80% or better of installed systems into that program. However, what Hawaii will look for now going forward is the much larger systems that are coming out, and probably what we call the tower format product.
Do you see any manufacturing taking place in places beyond San Jose?
Yeah, we do. Look, we've built a lot of capacity, and we wanted to get to 20,000 annualized units of capacity with Omega. And really, it comes down to the test station. The test station, it takes 45 minutes to test a system. So if you look at 20 working days, 10 systems a day, you can do 200 systems on a test station on a one-shift operation. And then that's the constraint. You don't need to worry about assembly, board manufacturing, transport manufacturing. The capacities of all of those things are so much higher than the IFT, it creates a very simple nameplate capacity discussion. 20 working days, 10 per shift, 200 units per month per shift. Ran a double shift, 400 units, 1 test station. 4 test stations, 19,200 annualized system. That's what we have there. However, we also assemble and test in Australia. So we just manufacture the inverter in San Jose. We ship inverters to Australia and we finish them there. That's how we design the platform, where we can move very small critical components from a key partner and do assembly and test anywhere in the world that we may find a high demand area. So that's the actual setup. Run the inverters in San Jose, ship the inverter to the other markets, and do the entire product for North America in San Jose. So I don't see any capacity issues now. We wanted to get to, I think we targeted October to be at the 20,000 unit capacity. We're already there. Now it's just layering demand. First pass yield, which, people have heard me go on and on about, I'm sure at this point. First pass yields are coming in north of 80% right now. So from a manufacturing standpoint, the plant's doing well. We have the capacity. We now have the capacity for the 10K product. We already have designed the IFT for the tower product, which will come out later this summer. So operationally, Brent and his team have done a fantastic job there. But if something was to go off track and we needed additional capacity quickly, that's very easy to put in how we've developed the product.
Can we get any sort of approximate timeline on when we might see annual filings showing up on SEDAR?
Right now, just based on the change of the year end and so far, we're targeting at the end of March.
Okay. Well, Justin, thanks so much for hopping on here. It's always great chatting with you. I know the investors, they love getting an update. So, congratulations on the success that you have been having. I mean, a $10 million quarter is a big deal. I think it's a big milestone, and hopefully we see more of those in 2023.
We like where we're tracking right now, Steve. We've got the largest energy storage product suite in the world. We've got the largest microinverter suite paired with it, fully integrated. Again, the purchase of Solarlab, that we think that's going to significantly drive revenue in Australia, and the excitement of the R&D team on what the capabilities of this tower product's going to do with a 15-year warranty, 2-hour install. It's we've got a very positive, happy team here. We're gonna keep it going.
Okay, awesome. All right, everybody, thank you for watching. If you could do me a big favor, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so we keep making more of this content for y'all. I love you all.